archaeology. Get out of there, Dan!
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that might be important. I thought that's the reason you put it down.
I'll start the intro?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
you can go ahead. You can go
All
ahead.
right. Only problem is without monitoring, I can't tell when the audio ends. Uh-oh. Well, that just happened. I cut off the intro a little. The very end.
Nice. So we are live. Okay. Well, welcome to episode 14 of You Call This Archaeology, and we are trying yet one more setup. And if I keep bumping the table, the video will probably get shaky. So, Richie, don't forget your microphone when you want to say something. I don't know what the hell this is or what it means, so ignore it. But we're in the same room we've been in before in the Reno Collective here.
Yeah.
But we're just oriented differently because we're trying something new.
Plus the chair swivels. I can actually talk to you.
I know. So, and I've got my coffee here. Luckily, the lower third covers most of our craziness down here. I'm going to monitor the audio. That's pretty loud. I am blasting the audio on this one today.
Neat. Wait, that's that neat.
I think I know why too. Let me do a little modification here. I think that monitor out.
Oh God, yeah. I wasn't even looking at that. It was totally peaking for a while.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully we're a little quieter now.
Better than the alternative.
Being too quiet. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. Even though it's not related to the show, what is that stuff?
All right, so my God, this last couple weeks have been just ridiculous for me. And I'll be able to focus here as soon as the audio catches up online. Okay, that's better. Now I can take these off. Okay, so anyway, as I mentioned last week, I had the Reno Air Races the week before that.
Yeah.
I got sick during it. I think I gave it to Richie during last week's episode because we were in the booth over there, and I took my germs and put Richie in an isolation booth and said, "Here, have this." And then, so I've just been playing catch up. So not only did I miss essentially a little over a week's worth of work, just APN, dig tech, all the stuff I do. I put kind of all of it on hold. I was still doing editing at night and doing some things for APN because I had to keep things going out, but everything else kind of got put on hold. So last week, while I was pretty much sick and trying to do stuff, and then this week, I've been trying to play catch up and get all this stuff done. Because as with all things in archaeology, Richie, as we know, if you've got 17 things that are due over the course of 5 months, they will all come due at the same day. Yeah. Like, that's just guaranteed. So I had 2 reports that I didn't necessarily come due. Like, one of these has pretty much been done. I guess 3 reports, essentially. 2 for one client and 1 for another client. And one, the actual due date was today, and we got that shipped off overnight yesterday, so they have it in their greedy little hands today. And but it's just all the last minute things that are associated with doing anything had to be done, and there was a reason why that report was delayed. It was weather based. It was all kinds of other things. So there was all the comments. Well, then there were some comments. They weren't extensive comments though. Yeah. But that didn't cause a delay. The comments were easy to address for the most part. But that's the first report in 5 years that I've had any comments on. Really? So there were only a handful of comments, and we didn't do too badly. So the comments were reasonable too. Like, I totally agreed with most of them except for a couple. We're not going to get into that. Yeah. And then the other report that I shipped off today, which was actually 2 reports for the same project. This is what Richie helped me do back in July, which is while we were out in Elko. One of those was this report right here. It's kind of an annual thing I do for this company. It's kind of fun. It's the same thing every year. You go out there and we get to see the woman who runs the show out there and talk to her and look for the keys. Refer back to an earlier episode for what the hell that means. And then that's it. So I've been running ragged, and this all goes back to what Richie's asking me what this thing is here. So I've been just like, today I came in early. Oh, and I'm trying to get all this done because we're going on vacation tomorrow to North Carolina. My wife and I are. So Saturday, the 1st or the 30th of September, as you're listening to this, whenever. Yeah. And it's going to be a nice, relatively relaxing beach house we've got out on the North Carolina coast. It wasn't ravaged by hurricanes, so that's nice for us. But her whole family's going to be there, which is going to be great. We don't see them very often. But when you put 7 people in a house, that gets to be a little busy. I mean, it's a big house. It's got like 5 bedrooms.
But it makes me think of all those David Sedaris, This American Life episodes I've listened to.
Right? And he's like from North Carolina, isn't he?
Wait, he is?
I think so. Like he lived in like Raleigh or something.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That was
anyway.
a tough place for someone who sounds like him to grow up.
I know. So I haven't had like a real meal today. I've had snacks and like this skinny popcorn stuff we got at Costco and Cliff shot blocks, and then these little energy bites that my wife got from somebody. It's organic cacao powder and nibs. Total bullshit, but just giving me calories right now. So, anyway, that's where I'm sitting at. I'm sitting here chewing into the microphone, so that's really classy.
Yay, nothing wrong with that.
No.
More importantly, I just want to apologize to our followers. There are a lot of people here today using the Wi-Fi, so we are dropping roughly 50% of these frames.
Nice.
I'm not sure if you can tell that looking on your monitoring there.
I see it stopping every once in a while, but I don't think the audio is.
Oh, it never does. It's just the video.
Yeah, so if you can't see us sitting here, it's not the end of the world.
Nice.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, then ignore what Richie's saying because he's recording it on a separate camera. And if you're listening to this on the Archaeology Podcast Network, then also it's good audio. So ignore all comments related to dropped frames. That's only for the live audience. Yeah. So anyway, Richie, what's new in your life these days?
Oh my God! Other than having this cold, what you were mentioning though about being super busy made me think of something that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Coworker said, you're so efficient because you can multitask. And yesterday I was like, there was like just a rush, and there was someone else at the register who was supposed to be helping me out, but she also does the scheduling, and I'm like, dude, can you at least can you at least do one thing, like maybe answer this phone? She says, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, and I'm like, dude, I'm literally trying to answer this phone, helping a customer get stuff out of a car, and like opening doors for people.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, oh my God, that's like, I think that's like one of the things I keep telling people at the bookstore. It's like, archaeologists are like a completely different level in terms of what constitutes hard work.
Yeah, you really learn that when you get out of archaeology, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because our idea of like, having an easy day of it is, only walking 6 or 7 miles that day and maybe not recording very much, just going out for a hike. That's a hard day for us. It's an easy day for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I was so frustrated yesterday because it's like I felt like I was supposed to run the whole store by myself.
Yeah.
While these people did like their single tasks. Like this girl, like her task aside from scheduling was to create our Snapchat story for the bookstore. And I'm like, really? I mean, not that that's not an important thing. It's like, obviously social media is very important. But it's like, you can't pause that for 2 seconds and help these this live line of people who are waiting. And one customer actually commented, he's like, wow, I wish I could sit there and like look up pictures of like skeletons on the computer because the office door was open and she was making her Snapchat story, and I'm like, oh yeah, so do I.
Was this a Snapchat story for her or for the business?
For the business.
Okay.
But it's like...
Still, customers come first.
Yes. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I mean, I realize it's her very first job ever.
Right.
But it's like, oh, come on, man.
Well, you find that... I find that in archaeology in general, we all have specific jobs on our crew.
Yeah.
Now, if you're back east and you're shovel testing, or you're in the Midwest and you're shovel testing or something, you're typically kind of an autonomous unit, as you know. But out here in the West, on survey crews where we do pedestrian survey, if we're recording something, we typically work as a team.
Yeah.
And we'll all start recording the site with different responsibilities. Somebody's taking photos, somebody's doing GIS, somebody's writing the site record, somebody's doing descriptions on stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But those tasks don't end at the same time.
No.
They end at different times. And when your task ends, you help other people finish.
Wait.
You're supposed to.
That's crazy talk. You're not supposed to sit there and smoke a cigarette and chat with a cute lady.
I mean, that happens. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But,
oh my God, I hate people like that, by the way.
I know. But yeah, I mean, you should typically, now there are definitely people that will just sit down and wait to be told something else to do. Maybe it's been a long day. It often, if this might be just anecdotal because I've never taken a poll on this, but it might be a factor of where you are in the 10-day. Like if you're on day 1 through 3 or 4, you're more willing to help people out. If you're on day 10 and it's session 5 and you're just like, F this job, you might be just like sitting down saying, I'm going to take a break because I just worked really hard doing what I had to do.
Never.
I know, but people do that.
Or, well, I was about to say, maybe it depends on how green they are too. Like maybe they don't realize something. I don't know.
Well, it's just like the person at your job. If it's her first job ever, she's really focused. Now I'm just projecting onto her, but she's really focused on getting her job done, maybe doing her job right, or she's been led to believe, because I would be willing to bet she has siblings. Because somebody who grows up with siblings, you know, I'm not doing your chores and you're not doing my chores. Like, I'm not helping you. I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm going to do my stuff and I'm going to get it done. You stay out of my room. You know, everything is divided and everything is separate. I mean, some kids get along better than others, but generally everything's separate. So you get to your first job, you're told, this is your job. And they're told, Richie, that's your job. And this is Joe's job. And this is Mary's job. Well, so when I'm working, I'm not going to help you do your job because you're working the counter right now. I'm not going to get up and help customers. But they don't realize in a business, you have to focus priority.
Well, you have to have contextual awareness of what's going on and prioritize according to what's important.
Right.
So if a customer sees you on the computer, you know, like playing around, what they perceive to be playing around, they're not going to perceive it as you doing your job. They're going to perceive it as like, that person yesterday who actually told me, I'd like to sit on the computer doing this. They're like, so it's just you up front? I'm like, no, it's not supposed to be. Right. Apparently it is.
And hopefully, well, and you know, the thing is too, she's working on social media, whether it's Snapchat or Facebook or whatever. She's working on social media for the store. But what's the point of that social media? To bring more people in the store.
Exactly.
And when more people are in the store, you have to service those people.
Exactly.
Because if you've got people, if you got a line sitting at the counter, social media's done its job. Stand the hell up and go help them.
Oh my God, it makes me think of trying to whip the front register into shape before I get out of there.
Oh, it's amazing that you care so much. Because a lot of people don't.
Well, that's the thing. Like, one of my coworkers who was like super sad I'm leaving says, God, you care too much. And I'm like, I do it everywhere, like including in archaeology. It's one of the reasons why I'm out there running in the snow in like January.
Keeping fit?
Yeah. Always. But
Richie cares so much that on survey, he doesn't even want to stop sometimes when he's walking. Sometimes that line just comes right up and goes right behind him. In a good way.
True.
It's better than stopping short.
Unless your name is Josh.
Wow.
Should I have said that?
I hope Josh is watching this. But he's ironing his kilt, so he's not paying attention.
Oh my God, a customer came to the store yesterday because we have a mutual friend of ours by the name of Mark. You know, we know Mark. Mm-hmm. You know, he has what he calls a utility kilt. And so there was a customer who came with a kilt, and I'm like, you know, I've got a buddy who's got a utility kilt. You know, what's the difference between that and what you're wearing? And he goes, well, first off, this is, you know, the utility kilt isn't a real kilt. And this is a real kilt because it has pockets, as tartan.
Nice.
Which I didn't realize was like a semi-offensive question. I mean, he seemed a little annoyed that someone wouldn't know what a kilt was.
Nice.
Kind of like the time, I'm not sure if you remember this, but there was a time where Mike Myers was on SNL and he had this skit. He had this skit called All Things Scottish. And all the customers kept coming in requesting all things Irish.
Oh my God. I think I remember that.
I thought when I was a kid that was the like funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Nice.
Especially since I didn't know anything about the Scottish people.
Right. I've been to Scotland. I don't know anything about the Scottish people.
Wait, isn't that where you work at the coffee shop?
No, that was in England. That was in Jersey, the Channel Islands. Yeah, that was 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in Scotland last year. No, 2 years ago. We were in Scotland 2 years ago. We were in Italy last year. Yeah, Scotland 2 years ago for the EAA conference in August.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Another non-archaeology related question, but I was super jealous when you went to that coffee shop in the basement, or whatever they call that thing in the old
Global Coffee.
Yeah.
I know, here in Reno. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, I didn't even know it was there. No, you're going to check it out. It's pretty sweet.
Is that like a mall thing now?
No, it's like a whole community thing under there. There's a couple stores. There's a couple eatery type places. There's my friend who actually, she has an office here too. She runs a chocolate shop, Sugar Love Chocolates.
Neat.
And then there's Global Coffee, and they're really cool. And Robbery, if you've seen them, like RAWBRY, I think it is. They have like raw food and stuff like that. They're down there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and then the thing on the next floor up, again, this is totally unrelated to anything you guys care about. The next floor up is the West Elm store. It's like a department, well, it's like a furniture store, like a high-end furniture store. We walked through there and picked up a little bit of glassware and stuff. I picked up a nice thing to hold like a glass container to hold like bourbon in.
Ooh.
That was pretty sweet. But
Yeah.
because that was actually a good price. Most of the ones you see are like $100 for like a nice, really solid one. But this is a really solid piece of glass with some cool shapes on it, and better than having just a bottle sitting out. It was nice to dump it in there. So anyway,
I didn't even know what that place was until you just told me.
I know. I had no idea either. We just walked in like last weekend. So and we live like 2 minutes away from it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's.
Wait, has anyone joined us that we know?
No, not really, but I think it's because of the internet interruptions. I've seen a few people come in and out, but I don't know if it's actually reporting accurately. If you do join this broadcast, say hi. Give it a like so we know you're there.
Yeah.
Say hi and ask us a question or something like that. So we're more than happy to do that. I can address a few things like with archaeology, because I spent a lot of time in the last couple of days writing and revising. I say revising because I wrote the first one like 2 months ago, so I wanted to go back over it and kind of check it out again. But most of these reports, especially for federal agencies in the Great Basin, I'm sure if you do a report for like a private client, which I've done before, you'll just do this because you're so used to doing it for federal agencies. I don't know what other people do, but we always have background. Now it's different. Let me tell you, there's a difference between the cultural background and the context, the cultural context section. I actually, a long time ago, when I first started hearing about these things, I used to think people were just using two different words for the same thing. They're not. So the background section of the report, for this one report that was related to this one, actually, we just had to do prehistoric. I asked her about it. There was no historic anything on the 3 sites that we had to evaluate. So I was like, do I even need a historic background? That doesn't seem like it's appropriate. So I did a prehistoric background, and it was based on, northeastern Nevada where we were working. So just a quick comment on that, before I get into the difference between that and context section. It's such bullshit.
Wait, it is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because all these areas that people are working in, we're rarely out in some place that's like totally virgin and new and has never been inspected before. Now, that's not to say we're in a place that's never been surveyed before. We do that all the time here in Nevada. But we're in places where, sure, it hasn't been surveyed, but that place right over there at the other end of the valley has. And just on the other side, that has been surveyed. Why does the BLM and the Forest Service require this massive, extensive background that they know every single company uses as boilerplate? They're just like, I've got that in this report. Let me just tape it over here and paste it over here, and I'll change a couple particulars to make sure it fits with this area, and then I'm going to go on. I've got it. Everybody has it, right?
Yeah, well, it's tradition.
Well, and then we might go through a couple newer resources and see if there's anything that's been published recently, and then add that to the context, right? Check American Antiquity and a couple other things. Journal of Archaeological Science and whatever you got to do. And one of the references I used today that I've used before, and I just like, and I'm not saying I had the actual reference. I have the reference to it and all the stuff I've used, but it's from the Journal of World Prehistory. Who the hell's gonna even look in that for something related to the Great Basin? Right? Now, if you don't have access to like JSTOR and other things, which most of us probably don't, I kind of do still because of my college. Do? Yeah, I can get into it.
Oh wait, can you recommend some place to people who might not?
I mean, you need your.
No, I meant, can you recommend something besides JSTOR?
Not really, no, because that's the biggest one to check.
Oh,
I mean, besides Google Scholar.
Damn it.
Or something like that.
I was just fishing for myself.
Oh, no. I mean, if you want to search all the journals in the back issues, I mean, JSTOR is kind of where it's at.
Damn it.
If you have an SAA membership, you can search back issues of American Antiquity.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But, not everything's in American Antiquity. They put out, like, 10 articles an episode, a magazine, and that's our journal, and there's like 4 a year. So
it's like $100 a year too.
Well, it's part of your SAA membership.
I know.
You don't pay extra for it.
I know.
So you pay extra nowadays, I think, if you want a print copy. I'm not sure. But
oh, really?
The digital one's included with your membership.
Yeah. But you were saying about the context and the background.
Yeah. So anyway, it's total bullshit, and I don't know why. I think that most people are turning in. I try to do a little bit of research and try to add something to every background I do, but 90% of it's boilerplate because it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Unless something new has been done in that area. But I think that the BLM and the Forest Service and these federal agencies that work within the state, I think they would get more benefit in some actual research if just like once a year or once every 2 years even, they would contract a company, because you see these massive syntheses that are done and people create this cultural chronology for this whole area. They go through, and it's an actual job, it's an actual report. They go through, they do the hard work, and they do that. But where most people can and do cut corners in their report writing, because they're trying to make as much money as possible because the margins are so tight on these things, they're going to skimp on that and do boilerplate and focus more on the other sections, right? Yeah. So I wish they would just contract out people and then say, hey, you're working in this area, we have a chronology for this, use this as your guideline for your context. Now let's talk about context. So the culture history, like I said, they should just have that contracted out and have it and give it to you. The context is what, like when we were going out for that project, ideally, now we didn't need to do this on that project because we were going to evaluate sites that had been evaluated, or been looked at already, so we had their site records. But if we were going somewhere new, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to do a lit search, so you find out what's out there, and ideally they'd hand you this chronology that says, here's, look at the whole area, this is what's going on. And then you develop research questions. That's your cultural, your context involves your research questions. So it's, what that means by context is you're taking what you find and putting it within context of the greater area. So you look at an area and they're like, well, in this particular time period, we don't have much information on subsistence strategies. You know, what were they eating? Where were they going? What were they doing? We don't have much information on that, so we're going to develop a research question around that because we think where we're going might be able to answer that question.
So kind of like the macro and the micro view.
Kind of, yeah. So the macro is the overview, the cultural chronology, and then you go to the context that says, okay, but for this report, we're going to try to answer these questions. You can answer other questions, but you're going into it trying to answer these questions. And that's another place where I think people fail is they don't tell the actual research crews that. Like the research questions are answered by the project manager or PI based on the information that was collected. But if you go out there with an eye towards, well, this is kind of what we're looking at, you know, not that you're going to ignore other things, but it might open your eyes to some other stuff that you weren't really aware of. Like if you are concerned with subsistence strategies and things like that, you might be paying more attention to the vegetation that's there, to the types of animals that are there, things like that. Now that's now and not 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, but still you're paying attention to how it's changed, and you can write that down as notes and stuff. Nobody ever does that. So
I feel like you're lucky if you at least include background and whatnot for the correct county, because I think we know people who just like, well, whatever, this is close enough. This is a close enough area. Let's just copy paste that.
Well, and like I said, it's such bullshit, and people know it because I mean, I actually screwed up on the report, the companion report to this, the one we did the site evaluations on. I have a template. A report template, right? So I used my template, and it already has a couple backgrounds in it. And I copied my report template into the new folder, and I started filling out the beginning information. I started doing that before we even went out, like because that's stuff you can actually do whenever. And then, I mean, there's only a handful of sections in that report that you have to fill out based on the field work. A lot of it's based on pre-field research and other stuff. So, so I was filling it out. And in the meantime, and that was on my iMac, and I was working on Pages. I use Apple's Pages on my iPad, and Pages on the iPad automatically defaults to storing documents in iCloud versus anywhere else. So I actually started working on the cultural chronology, the actual one for this area, and I was writing it based on actually 3 reports that the Forest Service archaeologist gave me. So I was just synthesizing those 3 reports. That's what she told me to do even. She's like, just synthesize these and use it for your area, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And I did that like a week after we finished the field work. You know, so I completely forgot about it. It's been sitting in iCloud in Pages. So when I sent her just an email copy of the draft report after I finished everything, I hadn't taken out the boilerplate background, which was actually for Western Nevada. And one of the comments was, the background seems to mention all like Western Nevada. Can you make it talk about Northeastern Nevada? I was like, son of a bitch. I looked at it and I was like, are you kidding me? I sent this to her. That's how crazy, and that's what I did when I was sick last week. I was probably in a NyQuil haze when I sent her this draft report. Note to everyone, don't send people draft reports in a NyQuil haze. You know. But
you know, the whole idea, I mean, did you do that sort of template thing when you were in school? Because I feel like it just occurred to me, that'd be a great idea for students to take up.
Well, I think...
For like research or papers or something.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Because I didn't know really to do that. I assumed that every time I had to do a paper, it was going to be something new. But you're totally right.
Yeah.
Research papers have, once you get into the upper level classes for anthropology, your research papers are probably going to all have a standard format. But how valuable even is, you know, I think more valuable, and I think I wrote a couple blog posts about this a long time ago, but... Yeah. Or at least I intended to. I think it would be more valuable for students because having a template for archaeology is wise because the BLM and the Forest Service reports have almost identical section headings. Like, I mean, right down to the you know, section 1 is this, section 2 is this, and you just fill in the blanks. Yeah. So you do all that, you have your document ready to go. I think for students, since the research papers might be slightly different, there's no information that you're going to copy from one paper into the next. I mean, they're all going to be completely different, so there's no boilerplate really that you can put in there. But using styles, whether you're using Word or Pages, and people don't use styles enough, and that's the biggest thing I have in my documents. Like, I hadn't done I actually don't do too many reports these days, and especially in the last year, I haven't done very many. So when I went to do one again, and I was putting references in my bibliography, it's always a bitch to format those, right? So, but then I realized, hey, I'm smarter than I thought I was, and I looked in my styles, and so the first line of a bibliography in the typical like American antiquity style that we'd use, the SAA style, the first line is just, you know, the names of the authors, and then the second line down is slightly indented, or at least this is how I do it. People do it slightly different way. Slightly indented with the year, and then a tab, and then the rest of the reference, and all of that is justified to the beginning of the reference, so the year is out there by itself. Well, I made a style called Biblio second line. Neat. And all I have to do is click that, and it automatically does all that formatting for me on the second line of the bibliography. That's cool. Yeah, so I don't have to format over and over and over again, because now the next line down is normal body style, because it's just the first line. And then the second line again, Biblio second style. So I can actually write the whole thing out, and then just go, you know, click, 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 and I'm formatted completely. My God, that's crazy. Coming from someone who wrote all his research papers in college on legal pads and typed them out on a typewriter while smoking a cigar while looking at the ocean. That's not even a joke. Nice. That's awesome. Because the only place, because I found when I went to coffee shops, I was distracting myself too much with the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Yeah, and my car doesn't have my convertible doesn't have a cigarette outlet. Power. So the only way I could do it was just write it out longhand. Right, right. I know, some people just need more isolation than others. Yeah, I mean, that's true. You got to find your own workflow. So. Oh my God! Well, let's take a quick break. Yeah. And you know, we normally talk about something related to the APN, but let's talk about this video's on YouTube. Yeah. And it's at Happy Archaeology Fun Time. And what else can people find there? Oh, they can also find my other videos. And as soon as I get my new job and start upgrading my memory storage, I can start editing videos again. Nice. Especially now that it only takes me 72 hours to turn around these videos. Yeah. I'm not even joking. Like, oh my God. I mean, not to turn this into like part of the podcast, but like it'll hang up on 98% rendered for like 12 hours. Oh my God. I'm not even joking. Yeah. Like it'll just like, I'll just go to sleep and then get up next morning. It'll still be on 98%, but it does get it done eventually. Well, people don't realize how much work this is to put out videos. Even a simple video with very little extras in it, it's a lot of work. And I just had a video go up from a guy named Matt Tran who has that dude. Yeah, he has a channel called Engineered Truth. Yeah. There's 2 videos of mine going up. One is just where I just talk about what archaeology is, and then there's one series he's got called Reality versus Expectations. Yeah. But he had me send him like a Google folder just of pictures of me doing archaeology and some videos and stuff. I don't know if you saw the first one. I shared it out. Yeah, that's the one. I haven't seen the second one yet. It's not out yet. But he doesn't do that. I mean, he has over 250,000 subscribers, but he has an editor. Like, he has somebody that does all that work for him. He just creates the videos and does the interviews and then sends it all off, and then the guy sends it back or probably does the upload for him. Man, that's an awesome name for a channel. I should have done that for my channel. Engineered Truth? Well, no, on Reality versus Expectation. Because reality, that's how my whole channel started. Well, you could call the channel that. His channel's not called that. He's got a playlist, basically, that's called that, of those types of videos within his Engineered Truth, you know, masthead. So, all right. Anyway, well, that's the commercial for YouTube. Yay. So let's get back to you call this archaeology, and you know, we don't have too many viewers, but Facebook apparently changed all the ways that they share things, and I didn't realize it till right before we started, so I didn't get a chance to share it to as many places as they usually do, which I think just builds in a bunch of listeners for us. But hopefully we'll just build a following with this, and people will see when it goes live. So yeah. But
you know, when you were talking about the SAAs, it made me wonder: are you still going to attend as many conferences this year, this upcoming conference season?
Well, probably not as many as I have before, since I'm not sharing costs with somebody else. Like last year I shared costs with Codify, and he allowed me to put some APN stuff up in the booth and things like that. I mean, I would pay for, obviously, plane ticket, and I usually split some costs on some other things, and I would pay for some Codify stuff as well. So, you know, it was a pretty decent split, because booths are not cheap.
No.
Flying's not cheap. All that stuff's not cheap. Plus, you know, when Michael and I were doing Codify stuff, you know, we'd help each other. I obviously help sell Codify while we're in the booth and talk it up. And if anybody had any questions about podcasting while I was busy talking to someone, he would sell IPN for me. You know, he would try to do that. But now it's just me. And while I have co-hosts, and I have other hosts of other shows, when they go to conferences, if we're at the same conference, their job is not the APN, and they have other responsibilities. Like, I've talked to people about the SAAs, because I will be at the SAAs.
Oh, will you?
I think,
I was thinking maybe I might too.
In Washington, D.C.?
Because I've got family there, and I got a couple of friends there and stuff, so I might. It depends. If I was going to be staying at the bookstore, then that would be financially impossible, but with this new job, it should hopefully...
Well, it's far enough out to put a little away every month, you know, and try to get it, so... But it's, I do... My focus on going to these conferences has changed on what I'm going to do there, and I need to have a booth to do what I want to do.
Oh, what do you want to do? Or
well, I want to do more. I was doing this just kind of ad hoc on the side with Codify, where I'd have API and stuff in there. The last SAAs is where I really solidified this. I actually didn't do much with Codify at all the last SAAs, because we had other people in the booth.
Yeah.
So I had the APN side and the PCS side, and since PCS is gone, it's just APN and APN training and things that I'm doing with that.
Yeah.
And so I would be doing interviews in the booth, telling people about podcasting, and actually conducting like classes and training in the booth as well for people that want to podcast their own projects and do their own things.
Would you live stream it?
I don't know about live stream, because internet never works out in those places.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's never reliable enough to do live stream. Yeah. And if you actually pay for internet, if they don't have some sort of institutional thing going on, if you actually pay for an extra router and server right there, I mean it's upwards of $500 for the conference. I mean, it's ridiculous. The prices are way out of whack with reality. These conference and convention centers, I mean, they just charge exorbitant prices because they know you can't go anywhere else to do anything else. You know, I mean, you want extra power at these things. I mean, it's $100 a day. You want, you should look at their catalog of like furniture and stuff. The one that really gets me is, I was looking through the one for the essays in Vancouver that we just did. And there was like a silver bowl that, it just said silver bowl, and it was like a shitty silver bowl you could get at Pottery Barn for like $5.
Yeah.
And they want to charge $80 a day for it. And you don't get to keep it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
So anyway, that's my focus on conferences. I plan to, I'm not going to SEAC this year because it's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I vowed never to return to that place. I owned a house in Tulsa one time. But I'm going to so far I'm going to the SHAs, although I haven't bought a ticket and I haven't done anything, but I'm supposed to be there in the tech room. And I'm supposed to be working with some other people on some other panels and stuff, but I just haven't finalized anything.
How about the Society for California Archaeology meeting?
I'll probably go. Where is it this year?
San Diego.
I'm probably going to that.
And you know what the crazy part? It's in the same hotel that it was the last time I was there.
Yeah.
And it's right next to a subway stop, and the subway stop goes straight to the gas lamp district.
Nice.
Which is the only reason, I mean, I had to admit that I am really shallow when it comes to choosing conferences to go to, but it's like, cool, party time.
There you go. There you go. Well, conferences are all about networking, so, you know, let's...
I mean, I don't get too crazy anymore with them.
Yeah, yeah, but even if you don't drink, you ought to hit up the bar that everybody's going to just to have conversations, you know. I didn't realize that early on when I was going to conferences, but I know that now. You know, I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons you go. Excuse me. That's one of the biggest reasons you go.
Yeah.
It's not to give a paper.
No. That's boring.
Yeah, that's totally boring. I mean... if you get the knock-on effects of giving a paper, like Like you could develop that into a publication.
Yeah.
You can, I guess just publish your paper. I mean, some of the references I have in my thing are actually conference paper presentations because the information was presented there, but never done anything with.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, the reality is most people aren't going to do anything with those papers, or they're going to revise it so much for a publication that it's not even the same thing anymore.
Well, and for me, it's just about bumping into people in the hall and just like surreptitiously going, "So, what are you doing these days?
Right.
What's going on?"
Right.
Stuff like that. Just like, putting your... It's basically, for me, conferences are just a way to put the ear to the ground. So I just got to figure, well, what gives me the most return on putting my ear to the ground in terms of conference going?
Right.
I mean, like GBACs and SCAs.
Yeah. Well, and...
maybe SAs, just for the fun of it.
Yeah. We might have some... Oh, I'm going to the AAAs at the end of November because I was asked to be on a panel there about podcasting and anthropology.
Neat.
So I'm doing that. But I'm not really doing much there. Like my panel's on Friday morning, and my wife decided she was going with me because it's Washington, D.C. and she wants to go. So we're going out on Wednesday and coming back on Sunday, which encompasses the conference. But I'm only going to the conference on Friday. Just to give my thing in the morning, and then I'll hang out for the day probably and try to talk to some other people and make some other contacts. I probably won't go see anything because it's not really my focus, that type of conference. But
plus, there's lots of stuff to do in DC that's free.
Well, yeah, and we're gonna do a bunch of stuff because we got an Airbnb actually a ways from the hotel. But since I only have to go there once, I don't care. Yeah. But it's right about half a mile north of the Capitol, so it's like right there. And so we're gonna walk down to the mall, and I've never been there, so we're gonna I've never been there at all.
Wow.
So we're gonna probably take in some bigger macro type things, just like walk around. I want to go into a museum, like pick one, just like one to go into, but I know that even one day, I'll need to spend the whole day there, and I still won't see everything. So
and the only one that requires an appointment is the new one, the one for the African American diaspora.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because we tried to go there when I was there last Christmas, and you needed an appointment.
Right. Well, here's my thought. Since the SAAs are in the same town, in the same damn hotel even, 6 months later, or 5 months later, or whatever it is, since they're in the same place, and I'm not focused on the AAAs, so we're going to have Thursday and Saturday that we've already planned. We actually booked White House and Capitol tours too, but they won't tell us until 2 weeks out whether or not we got one. So we're going to go there and, like I said, take in the big picture and see all the big stuff and just kind of be there and see the things. And then when I go back for the SAAs, especially if Rachel goes with me, we might go early or stay late because I'll be busy with the booth the whole time. Yeah. But we might go early or stay late and then do some more in-depth museum stuff.
Wait, are you going to take a knee in front of the warehouse? Or the White House?
I'll be on my knees the whole time because, that's when I get to the Capitol, somebody will be on their knees. It'll be the big Cheeto, not me.
Oh my God, his hotel's there too. Like, my sister couldn't even bring herself to look at the hotel. It's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. Isn't that called the White House now?
Well, I mean, there's that
Trump
too.
outside.
I wish. Actually, I don't wish. That'd be awful.
Yeah, that would be awful. Nice.
Or make a hat that says "Make North Korea Great Again."
That's right. Oh God. So, we're really dropping some frames now, but I heard the fan shut down on that computer. So that's nice.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't mean infinite death.
Hopefully not. It is plugged in, right? I don't see that light on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It was plugged in. Uh-oh. We are about to die. Not even joking. Ah. Ugh.
All right, so stand by while we solve some power issues here. Did we blow that circuit? No, our Mac's still on.
Let's try this one. Because I was playing around with outlets earlier.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Hopefully this thing isn't about to die.
All right, well, I'll keep talking while Richie figures out our power.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, right. So... Okay, so we had a minor interruption in the audio stream here because I'm going to edit all that stuff out. We'll see if Richie edits out the YouTube portion.
Of course not.
And we'll have another slight introduction when the Facebook live stream kicks back off again, which might be another 5 or 6 minutes because, nothing's up and running. Anyway, I can talk about the APN real quick. As you're listening to this, I have no idea what time frame it is. However, I'm looking for volunteers for the Arc 365 2018 edition if I do it. I can't do it myself, so I want a core of volunteers, probably 4 or 5 people, like writing short articles.
Yeah. And
I'll do all the recording and editing, which is fine, but it's the actual write-up of all that stuff that's really hard to do. It's not hard, but it's just time-consuming.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time for it. I think...
No, that's not going to work. But we can keep going, or at least for the audio.
What's going on with it?
It doesn't have enough power. Basically, it's 0, so it needs like 5-10 minutes to get going again. So we may as well just keep going with the audio and video part.
Okay, yeah, let's keep going. I'm not. Just shut it down.
Oh, I figured. It's already shut down.
Yeah. All right. You want to unplug that so it doesn't start a fire?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so anyway, yeah, we have Arc 365 2018. That's all I'm going to say about that. Email me at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com if you're interested in helping out.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. Also, as you're hearing this, I've got up on arcpodnet.com/training 2 different things that you can actually purchase. One is podcast consultation. So if you're interested in doing a podcast about what you're doing, and you want to know how to podcast and how what all this equipment and all these things, it's basically $15 for 15 minutes, which is about half of what industry standard is for that kind of consultation.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so it's $60 an hour basically. So look at it how you want. It's in 15-minute increments that you can purchase up to 2 hours, and I'll give you all my time and all my knowledge and all my information on that.
Oh my god, I don't know why. It just made me think of Lucy in her psychiatrist booth.
Nice.
You remember that from Peanuts?
Yes.
Interesting. So I assume can you manually end the stream from there?
Not from my iPad.
Shoot.
Because I'm not running it.
Oh god, so I gotta get this thing going again.
Well, it'll die on its own eventually.
How's that?
Still says live. Anyway, that's fun. That's real fun.
Yeah, it happens though.
Yeah, it does happen.
It's one of the reasons why I'm definitely going to be building a streaming laptop at some point. Or I guess building would be the wrong, since no one allows you to build those things anymore.
You can build desktops, but
that's true.
laptops are a little more difficult.
True.
Yeah.
Some of the setups I see around here are pretty badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people have some pretty nice ones. Anyway, so yeah, what was I saying? No, we have so APN stuff. Yeah, I think we've totally lost the thread of this episode.
But how did your podcasting class go?
So I taught my 3rd intro to podcasting class here at the Reno Collective. There was only about 5 people, which actually was expected, because we taught it. I taught it a few times over the summer, and had packed house. But how many people could I possibly keep getting? With the same advertising, and the Collective's been boosting posts on Facebook and doing their things. So I think we've kind of hit the normal things, the people that we're going to hit for that. And so we need to either branch out or whatever. But I'm going to keep offering the class so our local Reno, take that. But I had some really good interest in the workshop that I'm teaching on October 14th. And that is the idea of doing, for people that are over the fence, they know they want to do a podcast, and they just have to do it. They just have to get off their butt, and they just have to do it. So this class is in here in the Reno Collective I've got a book for 8 hours, but it'll probably take 6 or 7, depending on how many people are in there.
Neat.
But you start with an idea. We'll crowdsource information for you. We'll help people, flesh out your idea for your podcast. We'll look at logo design and start working on that. You'll come up with your first 10 episode ideas in class, and that'll be done. And then you'll start on your show notes for your first episode, and you'll say, okay, I want to do this and this and this, and it's all interactive, and everybody's going to help everybody else. And then once we have all that done, we're going to separate into the different isolation booth areas, or just out in the middle, and we're going to interview each other and record that, and then we'll get into editing. We'll swap, and each person will interview for their own show, and then we'll edit our shows, and then we'll talk about distribution, we'll talk about marketing, and the last thing is exporting your show and as an MP3 file that you can put on your phone or whatever and listen to in the car on the way home.
Ah.
So it's from idea to MP3 file all in one day. Because most of the time what gets people stopped up with podcasting is actually just sitting down to record and edit.
Yeah.
Like it's that one final step of doing everything start to finish that stops most people that I've recognized.
And some people focus on the equipment, but think about 20 years ago when Ira Glass was just using a tape recorder.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, not that those tape recorders are cheap. I've got one of those at home, and it's like massive, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is, the point that you're making is, if you just wanted to record audio, you could do it into the speaker on your phone.
Yeah.
You could do it into your headphones.
Yeah.
And you might not keep that. You might keep it for your first few episodes. You might not keep it at all, though. You might just want to talk to somebody and do some practice interviews, or get used to editing and hearing your own voice.
Ooh.
Get used to your flow and timing.
Oh, and I'm also curious. Have you been playing around with Audacity at all?
Not really, no. I need to look at it a little bit so I can, because I know a bunch of people are going to come with Audacity.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to tell them how to at least get it started. The editing techniques that I'm going to show them, you can use on any program.
Oh.
You know, it's just cutting and splicing and moving stuff around. I mean, that whether you're using GarageBand, Audition, Audacity, or whatever, it all works the same.
Ah.
But the little idiosyncrasies within each program and the buttons you push and stuff like that, that's what people have to learn for the program that they're using. So
Yeah.
I have enough familiarity with it that I can, get somebody started. Yeah. So, but for this class, they have to show up with their laptop and hopefully a microphone. If they don't have one, we'll make it work. But laptop, microphone, and some recording software and editing software.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are a minimum. If you don't have those, you're not going to be able to do it after the class anyway. So it's going to be a prerequisite for the class to show up with those things, because that's the other stumbling block, is buying those things and then showing up with those things. Plus, people will get access to a private Slack team that we'll use for graduates of the class, and we'll have different channels and different things. And as I get more people to take the class, they'll be added to the Slack team, and then there'll be a growing community of podcasters that can help each other out and answer each other's questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. And there's a few other things out there like that.
Yeah.
Most of them are way more expensive. There's one called Podcasters Society that you can go and, I mean, it's a massive resource of videos, tutorials, experts, other people. But it's, depending on the membership you have, it's $70 to $100 a month for that. Yeah. Now, some people probably do it just for a few months while they get their feet wet.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at it that way, you got unlimited access to basically top-notch materials for a couple $100. I mean, I'm offering this workshop for $150.
True.
But it's one and done. Plus, but it's not one and done, because you'll have access to the Slack team, which is free.
Yeah.
So I don't pay for that. I don't charge for it. I charge for the class. Then you have access to the Slack team for as long as you want to be in there. But then also, I'll have video tutorials and things like that of all the things that we covered in the class available to you as well after the fact.
Yeah.
So.
You know what's interesting? I've been looking at new phones. Well, new to me phones lately. It's crazy how good they've been getting. I mean, not the rehash the iPhone 10 thing, but I was looking at a particular phone, the LG V20, mostly because it can drive super high impedance headphones.
Nice.
And it's like essentially a music player replacement. But the important part is that people were pointing out in their reviews that when they broke their main cameras, like their main 4K cameras, they were able to just use those cameras as those phones as straight replacements.
Oh, nice.
And supposedly it does sort of almost multi-track recording, where you can set audio inputs per channel.
Nice.
So, I mean, I just wanted to bring it back to like the fact that you can do podcasting on your phone if you wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you really wanted.
If you really wanted to, yeah.
Oh, wait, can you just share from like the saved video now?
I'm just trying to see if it actually stopped.
Oh, if it didn't stop, then we apologize. Ish.
Yeah, well, nobody will know. It looks like it stopped because I can't find it anymore. Yeah, it looks like it's done.
Oh, good. Did it at least save?
It should have, yeah. It's right there. So,
good.
Yeah, anyway, we should start wrapping up this episode because I got a busy evening ahead of me.
Oh, really? Anything fun?
A couple things. I mean, it's some stressful stuff. I've got some scripts to write after we're done here.
Ooh,
and then,
for what?
For ARC 365.
Oh.
And I want to try to get a few of them, like a handful more recorded before I go home for the day. But then at like 7 o'clock or something tonight, I have to pack for a week's vacation, so there's that. But at like 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to a friend's house. She's Danish, and she's been in this country for 12 or 13 years, but she was sworn in as a U.S. citizen today.
Ooh.
So she's having her swearing in new U.S. citizen party tonight.
Neat.
So yeah, so she's probably gonna get drunk on PBR or something just to be a real American, you know, some Bud Lights or some shit.
Gross.
I know. No, she doesn't drink that.
Good.
Actually, she makes like this licorice vodka.
Ooh.
It's a Danish treat, I guess. It's vodka that she soaks this Danish candy, that's like hard candy, that tastes like licorice, like black licorice.
Yeah.
She soaks it in it for days ahead of time. And I don't really like the taste of vodka, but this stuff is freaking delicious. Because I like the taste of licorice. So.
Oh my god, that makes me think of the Ruby, where we kept talking about that old trick where you put a hole in a watermelon and then you put you put whatever liquor like vodka into it and let it soak there for like a million years.
Yeah.
Only on the Ruby.
That's
maybe.
right. So anyway, if Richie gets this up in time, since the live stream's down, and I doubt the audio will be up in time for this comment to make any sense whatsoever. But depending on my internet, we may try to do this remotely or something like that. But I'm going to be on vacation next week, so we may or may not have an episode.
That's
but
true.
We'll figure it out. I won't know until I get there what the situation's going to be with the internet. So, but we might be able to try the split screen thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do it for my home computer.
Yeah, you can do it from your home computer. I would probably be on my iPad or something like that, and then we can
get ready for all the technical issues.
Well, I think it'll actually work better because we won't have the mixer, we won't have separate microphones, we won't have anything like that. And if I start it from my iPad, because you can't do this in Chrome, so
I can't.
No. So if I start the show, all I have to do is swipe to the side, and I can see all the people that are watching it. And then I can request their video, and that's how we go split screen. So you can't do that from Chrome, as far as I know, because of the way that it works. So,
yeah.
But I should be able to do it from my iPad, if not my iPhone. Maybe we can try out a test call midweek or something if I see the internet's working. So, just a really quick midweek break update on the APN or something like that. Whatever we're gonna do. So we'll figure that out. And again, thanks for listening to episode 14, and sorry for the technical issues, although hopefully I edited all of them out in the audio format. Hopefully Richie got rid of some of it on the YouTube side, maybe not.
No, it's all character.
Richie calls errors character. So, again, thanks for listening to the Archaeology Podcast Network. Check out our other shows at arcpodnet.com. Check out our t-shirts, coffee mugs, and stickers, and all the podcast training at arcpodnet.com/training. Check out the live stream at 3 p.m. Pacific time on the Archaeology Podcast Network Facebook channel. Yeah. And, of course...
Oh, don't forget to check out the Happy Archaeology Fun Time YouTube page.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's where I am most of the time.
Yep, and there's a Happy Archaeology Fun Time Facebook page now.
Yes, although I'm not rolling that out as quickly as I could, just because I want to make sure everything is smooth and rolling before I start advertising.
Well, go like the page, and you'll get notifications when new stuff goes up there. Yeah. So, there you go. All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Better luck next time.
Yep.
Oh, my God. That should be our new catchphrase.
Better luck next time.